Hi, I'm Evelyn. After 2 years of freedom in Colorado, I finally felt like myself again. My apartment in Denver wasn't much, just a one-bedroom with mountain views on clear days. But it was mine. No walking on eggshells, no passive-aggressive comments, no Marcus. I was arranging fresh flowers on my kitchen counter when 3 sharp knocks rattled my door. Probably my neighbor borrowing sugar again. I swung it open with a smile that instantly died. "Hello, Evelyn." Diane stood there, her pearl necklace gleaming against her tailored blazer. Behind her, Gerald loomed with his perpetually disappointed expression. Marcus's parents, in Colorado, at my door. "What are you doing here? How did you—" "May we come in? It's rather important." Diane was already pushing past me before I could answer. "Actually, no, you can't." I blocked the doorway. "I don't know how you found me, but you need to leave." Gerald stepped forward. "This isn't a social call. Marcus needs you." "Marcus and I broke up 2 years ago. Whatever he needs isn't my problem. He was in an accident 6 months ago. Car crash. He's partially paralyzed now." The news hit like cold water. Despite everything, I never wished harm on him. "I'm sorry to hear that, but I still don't understand why you're here." Diane surveyed my apartment with thinly veiled disgust. "He needs care. Specialized care. You were studying nursing when you were together." "I never finished my degree. I work in tech support now." "But you know him, his needs, his preferences." I laughed. "I haven't spoken to him in 2 years. I know nothing about him anymore." "He asks for you." Gerald's voice softened, the manipulation shifting. "In his pain, he calls your name. That's not my responsibility. You need to hire professional help." Diane pulled out her phone, showing me a photo of Marcus in a wheelchair, looking thinner, sadder. "Look at what happened to him while you were out here, living your selfish new life. You cannot seriously be suggesting this is somehow my fault." "No, but you could make it right." Gerald stepped closer. "Come back to Ohio. Help him recover." "That's not happening. I have a life here, a job, friends. We found your address through that job." Diane smiled coldly. "Tech support for Mountain View Systems, right? Your manager, Brian, seems nice. Very understanding when I explained our family emergency." My stomach dropped. "You contacted my work?" "We're very resourceful people, Evelyn. When it comes to our son's well-being, there's nowhere we won't look, no one we won't contact." The threat was clear. They'd tracked me down across state lines. They'd contacted my employer. "I think you should leave. Now, before I call the police." Gerald placed a business card on my counter. "We're at the Hyatt downtown, 3 days. That's how long we'll wait for you to make the right decision." As they left, Diane turned back. "Oh, and Evelyn? It would be a shame if your new friends knew what kind of person you really are. The kinds of things you did before running away to hide here." The door closed behind them, but the chill in my apartment remained. I stared at the business card on my counter before calling Sophia. "They just showed up at your door? That's straight-up stalker behavior." I thought I was finally free. "Document everything. I'm picking you up for work tomorrow." The next morning, Sophia's Subaru pulled into the Mountain View parking lot. A Lexus SUV with Ohio plates sat near the entrance. "That's their car. They're already here." Inside, Diane was chatting with our receptionist like they were old friends. "Evelyn, sweetheart, I was just telling your lovely colleague about Marcus's condition." "This is inappropriate. You need to leave." My team lead, Jeff, approached. "Is everything okay?" "These people are harassing me. They're my ex-boyfriend's parents." Diane's face transformed. "Harassment? We're simply trying to help our disabled son who still loves you." "Marcus doesn't love me. He controlled me." The memory hit me. Marcus grabbing my wrist, squeezing until I dropped my phone. "Who's this guy texting you? Your study partner? Do you think I'm stupid?" Jeff stepped between us. "I'm going to have to ask you to leave." "Of course." Gerald appeared, placing his hand on Diane's shoulder. "But Evelyn, we've been advised we might have a legal claim here." "A legal claim? For what?" "Abandonment. Emotional distress. Our attorney thinks we have a strong case." "We lived together for 3 years," I said. "I don't owe him lifetime care." We have documentation of verbal promises you made. Gerald pulled out a folder. And we have access to your old social media accounts. Diane smiled. Screenshots of some very interesting posts about your relationship. The accounts I couldn't delete because Marcus had changed all the passwords. That's blackmail, Sophia hissed. It's negotiation. Gerald handed me the folder. Review these. We'll be in touch. That night, Sophia came over with wine. They're threatening you with a lawsuit that would never hold up in court. They don't need to win. They just need to drain my savings and ruin my reputation. I showed her the voicemails Diane had left, my neighbors reporting someone asking questions about my lifestyle, and the email from my college friend warning me that Gerald had contacted her about concerns for my mental health. They're trying to paint me as unstable, as someone who abandoned a disabled man. We fight back, Sophia said. My cousin's a therapist, Dr. Reynolds. She deals with domestic abuse cases. She can help document this harassment. I ripped Gerald's business card in half. I'm done running. I'm done being afraid. That's my girl. What's the plan? First, we gather evidence. Then we set a trap. Dr. Reynolds' office was cozy, with plants in every corner and diplomas lining one wall. She listened without interrupting as I explained my situation. This is textbook harassment, Evelyn. We need to document everything and build a case. How do I prove their intentions? You'll need to record them admitting what they really want. Colorado is a one-party consent state for recordings. So I pretend I'm considering their offer? Exactly. Set up meetings, get them talking. Meanwhile, I'll help you file for a temporary restraining order based on what we already have. I called Diane that evening, my voice shaking despite my resolve. I've been thinking about what you said. Maybe we should talk about arrangements. I knew you'd come around. Let's meet for lunch tomorrow. The cafe I chose had secluded booths perfect for recording conversations. I arrived early, activating the app Dr. Reynolds recommended. Diane and Gerald slid into the booth, all smiles now that they thought I was complying. Before I agree to anything, I need details. What exactly would caregiving for Marcus involve? Gerald leaned forward. He needs help with daily tasks, bathing, dressing, medication management. And you currently have professional help? Diane waved dismissively. A part-time aide. Costs are astronomical. So you want me to replace paid help? We want someone who cares about him. Would I be compensated? They exchanged glances. You'd have room and board, of course. So I'd give up my career, my independence, and work for free? Gerald cleared his throat. It's not work when it's family. I'm not family. We weren't married. But you were practically engaged, Diane insisted. How did you find me? I never gave you my address. Gerald examined his water glass. We hired someone. What kind of someone? A specialist in finding people. Later that day, I met with a cybersecurity expert Sophia knew. He examined my accounts and discovered the breach. Someone accessed your credit report using your social security number and old address. Classic identity theft. Can you trace it? Already did. The access came from an IP address in Ohio, same town your ex lives in. I felt sick. They stole my identity to track me down. My next move was riskier. I called Marcus's physical therapist, pretending to be from their insurance company. We're verifying Mr. Thompson's mobility status. Our records show partial paralysis. That's outdated. He's made remarkable progress, walking short distances with a cane now. One final confirmation came from an old mutual friend who'd stayed neutral after our breakup. Tyler, I need the truth. How bad was Marcus's accident? Bad enough for sympathy, but not bad enough to stop him from going to Cabo last month. Why? His parents are here saying he's partially paralyzed and needs round-the-clock care. Silence, then. That's not right, Ev. He's recovering well. He's been talking about getting you back, though. Something about his parents helping him. I hung up, my hands steady for the first time in days. The trap was set. All the pieces were in place. They've been lying about everything, I told Sophia and Dr. Reynolds as I laid out my evidence. And tomorrow, they're going to regret ever finding me. I chose a public place for the final confrontation, a conference room at the local police station. Officer Martinez and Detective Collins sat quietly in the corner as I waited. Dr. Reynolds had helped arrange this meeting through her contacts in law enforcement. Diane and Gerald walked in, their smug expressions faltering when they noticed the officers. "What's this about, Evelyn? We thought we were finalizing arrangements." "Please, sit down. I have some things to share with you." I opened my laptop, connected it to the room's display screen, and began. "First, let's listen to our conversation from the cafe." I played the recording where they admitted wanting free caregiving labor. "Now let's hear the call with Marcus's physical therapist." Their faces drained of color as the therapist confirmed Marcus was walking with a cane. "You've been manipulating me from the start." Gerald attempted damage control. "We may have exaggerated his condition, but he does need help. Save it. Here's documentation from a cybersecurity expert proving you committed identity theft to find me." I slid copies to the officers. "And these are statements from my employer and colleagues about your harassment campaign." Diane glared. "You can't prove any of this." "Actually," Detective Collins spoke up, "she has. Identity theft is a felony in Colorado. Stalking and harassment are also serious charges." "We're his parents. We were trying to help our son." "By stealing my identity? By threatening me? By lying about his condition?" I pulled out my final piece of evidence, a video call with Marcus that Tyler had secretly recorded yesterday. On screen, Marcus walked across his living room with minimal assistance, laughing as he described his parents' plan. "Once they drag her back here, I'll play up the disability. She'll feel too guilty to leave again. Mom and Dad are geniuses." Diane lunged for my laptop. "That's doctored. He would never—" Officer Martinez stepped forward. "Ma'am, please sit down." "You're both under arrest," Detective Collins said, standing. "Identity theft, harassment, and making interstate threats." As they were led away, Diane turned back. "This isn't over, Evelyn. He still loves you. We were helping him." "No, you weren't. And it is over." 2 weeks later, I sat in the courthouse as the judge granted my permanent restraining order against all three of them. Gerald and Diane faced criminal charges in both Colorado and Ohio. Marcus hadn't shown up for the hearing. Apparently, his disability prevented travel when it was convenient. "The court finds clear and convincing evidence of stalking and harassment," the judge declared. "The restraining order is granted for 3 years, with the possibility of extension." Outside the courthouse, Sophia and Dr. Reynolds waited with champagne. "To freedom," Sophia toasted. "And to consequences," I added. That night, I deleted the last photo of Marcus from my phone. I didn't need reminders of what I'd escaped. My apartment felt like mine again, my sanctuary, my victory. The mountains outside my window promised something I hadn't felt in a long time, a future without fear. What would you have done if you were in Evelyn's position? Would you have set up the trap to expose them? Or would you have involved the authorities immediately when they first showed up at your door? Do we owe anything to ex-partners and their families after a relationship ends, especially in cases of previous emotional abuse? Or is a complete break always justified? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this revenge story of standing up to toxic manipulation, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of triumph over those who try to control others. New stories every day.